Hello, Brian McCarthy here from Bold&Break, and this video is 5 tips to get you started as a freelancer. These tips are great to get you started in freelancing. They're simple, easy to understand, and very orientated towards building your career and reputation. Tip number 1, get an accountant. You will save time by getting an accountant. The last thing you want is to get done with a tax penalty, and this kind of applies to every designer, every freelancer. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're going out there becoming a freelancer, get an accountant. At the end of the year, you'll say, oh, I'll do my tax, I'll leave it, and then you'll realize that it's way more complicated than you thought, and you're going to spend hours trying to figure this stuff out, and you might get it wrong. And the hours you spend on trying to figure this stuff out could have been spent on building new clients, building new reels, doing some design work, or resting if you had a successful year. Tip number 2, use LinkedIn. Now, I wouldn't have really used LinkedIn too much before I went freelance. I have a real hate-love relationship with the platform. There's a lot of rubbish on there, but it really is a gold mine if you're a freelancer, especially if you're a designer, and there are ways to use it. You know, you can search terms like looking for freelance designer, and you will get posts that are, you know, hourly, maybe posted yesterday. It's a kind of a real-time platform to get engaged with recruiters, reps, agencies, HR staff, and just keep pinging your work on there. You don't have to be too active. I know it's kind of an annoying platform at times, but it's where businesses talk a lot. Tip number 3, use recruiters when you're starting out. There might be kind of a reluctancy to use recruiters because this idea that they take money from you, but they're finding you work, and they're going to put you out at the day rate you request. They'll negotiate, and they'll do a lot of the admin stuff for you at the start. Yes, you know, it can be difficult going through a third party, but if you find a recruiter you trust, you know, you can have 2 or 3 on the go. They can really help kickstart and boost, you know, the beginnings of your freelance career. And if you build a good relationship with a rep, you can get good work. So it's not unusual for designers to have a rep, especially at the higher end, in the kind of boutique areas of design. A lot of studios and, you know, superstar designers, they'll have reps. Some won't, and, you know, the ideal scenario is have a plethora of clients that you work with directly, but that's not going to happen for a while. So while you're trying to conjure up that relationship, definitely use reps. You'll get kind of run-of-the-mill work that you'll be able to do straight off the bat, and building a relationship is great to kind of just get the money coming in. Number 4, this is a bit of a tricky one, because when you're starting out, it can be a bit nerve-wracking to do this, but my advice is to always have a contract in place when you're working with clients, especially if it's direct. Now, it can be difficult when going through reps or recruiters to get the contract in place, because the work can move so fast that you're like, oh, I just need the work. I don't want to you know, slow things down. Granted, that's fine, but you definitely should have a contract in place with your representative or recruiter. If you don't, you're in serious trouble if something goes wrong, and things will go wrong in the first few years of your freelance career. Things will go wrong throughout your life, so you need to be protected. You know, and if you're going direct with a client, I urge you to have a contract in place. There's plenty of places you can find templates online. You can buy contracts, and definitely get them. They are the legal document that protects you when a client is either trying to take advantage of you or not paying you. They're proof that you and the client have gone into a legal arrangement that needs to be honored. Make sure you get a contract in place. Too often do I see designers not using contracts. It drives me mad. Always, always, always have a contract in place. 5. Business insurance. Another one I would urge all designers out there to do. We work in a very complex industry when it comes to copyright and intellectual property. Things can get misconstrued, and it's for protection again. So if, let's take a scenario that would not necessarily be kind of a black and white blame game. So you freelance for a studio for 3 weeks. Throughout that freelance gig, the studio delivers the work, you deliver the work, the studio's happy with you, and then it's found out 2 weeks later, when you're in another gig, the studio is getting sued by the client that they deliver the work to. Now, the studio may be in a situation where they're losing so much money, they'll sue you, and you come down the chain, you see where I'm coming on, and if you don't have business insurance, you have absolutely no protection and you're screwed. And things like this do happen. And when you have business insurance, sometimes they include free legal aid and free legal advice. So it's a really good thing to have going out there. And not only that, your equipment is covered. So if you have a camera or a laptop or a PC or whatever you work on, your business insurance will cover any damage or theft to that. Now, there are different kinds of business insurance, and you can get it for super cheap, and it's really worth looking into. I urge you to do that too. They are my 5 tips when you're getting into freelance. But these are tips that will really help you understand the business side of freelancing, and it's an upskill in a sense, and it gives you an understanding of how agencies and studios operate on a business end, and it helps you definitely grow as an individual artist, designer, motion graphics artist, whatever you call yourself. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment below. Remember to subscribe and like. Let's get discussing in the comments. Do you think these tips are useful? Have you ever done any of these tips before? Let me know. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.